my fellow servants of the Americas. All of the men and the women of this Pan-American Scientific Congress have come here tonight, I think, with heavy hearts. During the past few years, you and I have seen event follow event, each and every one of them a shock to our hopes for the peaceful development of modern civilization as we know it. And this very day, the 10th of May, 1940, this very day, 3 more independent nations have been cruelly invaded by force of arms. I am glad that we Americans, of the 3 Americas, are shocked, that we are angered by the tragic news that has come to us from Belgium and the Netherlands and Luxembourg.
Seldom has there been in history a more unwarranted violation of good faith on the part of any nation, and a more brutal attack on all that is decent in the relations between cultured states, as we are witnessing now on the part of Germany. True to its principles, the Netherlands are resisting this attack to the fullest extent of their power, and they will fight on as long as there remains one German soldier on Netherlands soil.
Infantry, you say? No, cavalry. Cavalry.
Double action, gonna go?
King Leopold, following the example of his father, King Albert, upholds with the same courage and the same simplicity the laws of national honor and imposes all the forces of the nation against the invader. Belgium has acquired the experience of facing overwhelming odds, and she knows her enemy.
We are in the presence of a situation in which solemn contractual obligations are being brushed aside. Peaceful nations are being deprived of their independence by brute force and treachery. Conquered populations are being subjected to new refinements of oppression and cruelty. In the face of existing conditions, we have no choice but to expand our program of armament construction to a degree necessary to provide fully adequate means of defending this country's security and its rightful interests.
I should like to see this nation geared up to the ability to turn out at least 50,000 planes a year. I ask for an immediate appropriation of $896 million. And may I say that I hope that there will be speed in giving the appropriation.
The entire aircraft industry will work at top speed to meet the national defense requirements. With over 20 years of experience and with the great expansion of the last year, we feel confident of being able to produce the great number of airplanes required by President Roosevelt.
If we turn away from the needs of others, we align ourselves with those forces which are bringing about this suffering and which we must eventually try to defeat. Remember, in this country, the gift must be based on your ability to give. Nobody but you can be the judge of what you are able to do. But let it be more than you have before thought you could give to others.
Today's threat to our national security is not a matter of military weapons alone. We know of new methods of attack. The Trojan horse, the fifth column that betrays a nation unprepared for treachery. Spies, saboteurs, and traitors are the actors in this new strategy. These dividing forces are undiluted poison. They must not be allowed to spread in the new world as they have in the old. Our moral and our mental defenses must be raised up as never before against those who would cast a smokescreen across our vision.
Today, in this most tragic of wars, when the Allied countries are again fighting for their very existence, the American Red Cross is appealing for the modest sum of $20 million. The need is most urgent. It is our duty, as we are given power to see our duty, to give aid to the helpless and needy. The Allies are fighting a war for civilization. They are holding our front line. And we have a vital concern in the outcome. We should send not only food, clothing, and medical supplies, but also arrange to send airplanes, artillery, small arms, and ammunition in unlimited quantities. There is no time to lose. The Allies need every encouragement it is possible for us to give. Let us open our hearts and give in Christian sympathy.
The people and the government of the United States have seen with the utmost regret and with grave disquiet the decision of the Italian government to engage in the hostilities now raging in Europe. This government directed its efforts to doing what it could to work for the preservation of peace in the Mediterranean area. In our American unity, we will pursue two obvious and simultaneous courses. We will extend to the opponents of force material resources of this nation. At the same time, we will harness and speed up the use of those resources in order that we ourselves in the Americas may have equipment and training equal to the task of any emergency and every defense.
The need for more helpers is very great today, and I should like to think that many hundreds were able to offer their services to the country and to follow the example of those who I see before me today. Hip, hip, hooray! Hip, hip, hooray!
Now.
The mission to relieve the suffering of the innocent, homeless, and hungry victims of the war is the big job that faces those who live in places where there's peace. All of us, I know, are going to do everything we can for this worthy cause. Thank you.
You have the confidence and the gratitude and the love of your countrymen. We are all with you in the task which enlists the services of all Americans, the task of keeping the peace in this new world of ours. The first number drawn by the Secretary of War is serial number 158.
There it is. So, as you know what I say, I thought.
If Great Britain goes down, the Axis powers will control the continents of Europe and Asia and Africa and Australasia and the high seas, and they will be in a position to bring enormous military and naval resources against this hemisphere. It is no exaggeration to say that all of us in the Americas would be living at the point of a gun. Analyze for yourselves the future of two other places even nearer to Germany if the Nazis won. Could Ireland hold out? Would Irish freedom be permitted as an amazing exception in an unfree world? Or the islands of the Azores, which still fly the flag of little Portugal after 5 centuries. We know now that a nation that can have peace with the Nazis only at the price of total surrender. The people of Europe who are defending themselves do not ask us to do their fighting. They ask us for the implements of war, the planes, the tanks, the guns, the freighters, which will enable them to fight for their liberty and our security. There is no demand for sending an American expeditionary force outside our own borders. There is no intention by any member of your government to send such a force. The nation expects our defense industries to continue operation without interruption by strikes or lockouts. We must be the great arsenal of democracy. For us, this is an emergency as serious as war itself. There will be no bottlenecks in our determination to aid Great Britain. No dictator, no combination of dictators will weaken that determination by threats of how they will construe that determination. I believe that the Axis powers are not going to win this war. I base that belief on the latest and the best information.
Does not get all the luck. She is with its joy. And other vessels sunk without explosion is no regrets. Overboard as the ships dive hurriedly. Patton was torpedoed by an enemy E-boat. Other warships fed to the skeleton crew were ordered to the boats. During this trying time, the Bulldog successfully performed. Even as he is hoisted aboard, the watcher reports from volunteers, called for by the ship's commander. Practically every man jack of the injured vessel was immediately by the recent Admiralty announcement while fighting a gallant action against enemy.
We have seen the American motion picture become foremost in all the world. We've seen it reflect our civilization throughout the rest of the world, the aims and the aspirations and the ideals of a free people and of freedom itself. The motion picture industry has utilized its vast resources of talent and facilities, in a sincere effort to help the dictators, those who enforce the totalitarian form. It's a dangerous thing for their unfortunate peoples to know that in our democracy, officers of the government are the servants and never the masters of the people.
Thank you very much, sir. It's a great thrill to me to in the picture you did called Philadelphia Story.
Thank you, Miss Fontaine. I don't know how to express my gratitude. I don't know how it happened that I have it in my hand, but I have. And I'm indeed grateful. And this is the greatest moment of my life. Thank you.
break. It's Royal Crusader going to the front. A Beautiful is second. A Bayview is next on the outside. Hysterical is moving up, and Mealand and Porter's Cap are racing close up. Coming by the stand the first time, it's Bayview in front by a head. Sweep-Eyed is second on the outside by a half a length. Hysterical is third on the rail by a half a length. Porter's Cap is next and moving up on the outside by a half a length. Woof Woof by a length and a half. Can't Wait and a Beautiful on the rail. Around the turn, it's Bayview still in front by a 1 length. Sweep-Eyed is second by a head. Porter's Cap is third on the outside. Bayview in front on the inside by a head. Sweep-Eyed is second by a 1 length. Porter's Cap is third by a head. Can't Wait is fourth on the outside by 1 length. Viscounty is next on the rail by a head. Hysterical by a length and a half, and there goes Mealand and General Manager on the outside into the stretch, and it's Bayview in front by a length and a half. Mealand is second by a length and a half. Sweep-Eyed is third by a head. Hysterical is next on the inside into the stretch, and it's Bayview in front under the whip by a half a length. Mealand is second and driving on the outside, and there comes Bolingbrook. It's Bayview and the Mealand. It's Bayview and Mealand is going to be a driving finish as they come across the line. It's Bayview by a half a length. Mealand is second by 4 lengths, and Bayview, a 50-to-1 shot, is the winner.
Hawks, which discovered too late that the British pilot planes of these once proud birds of the hills of desert, pock-marked Benjamin machines, was vaunted Fiat finds of sand which will soon give attack upon Tobruk, which broke the defenders' resistance in a space between them and their objective of stores and ammunition. Italian soldiery and bombardment, Tobruk is uncannily silent as our troop surrender is complete. All fight has gone out of the rest of our forces is uninterrupted. Now, did I say they looked a relieved crowd? Look at their broad smiles as they anticipate a free holiday for the duration. Enjoy it in company with their regimental mascot. And, of course, there's yet another reason for their smile. Expression on the faces of these Italian women. Benito Mussolini Street has got it where the chicken got the axe. As naval and military almost beam at the camera as a British officer invites them to pose for this picture. Months ago, their Libyan magician, the disappearing Graziani, promised they should go. What could be fairer than that?
Their feet are on the prisoner's way, not on that victim. These 4 generals include divisional commanders, first big batch of prisoners to arrive in Bombay on their way to an internment camp, and their first attack, and fought in a manner to make the British troops bear no ill will toward. The Italian soldier has been led into
I want you to repeat after me. Did. I did it. S did it. H did it. Letter T, da. Da da. O, da da da. Those are the dashes of the alphabet. Now let's take note. Put your phones on.
we are now ready to forge ahead and to cast the full strength of American industrial power into the struggle against aggression. The opponents of this legislation intend to keep up the fight, to keep American boys out of the Holocaust of Europe's wars.
The big news story of this week is this. The world has been told that we as a united nation realize the danger that confronts us, and that to meet that danger, our democracy has gone into action. From the bureaus of propaganda of the Axis powers came the confident prophecy that the conquest of our country would be an inside job. The determination of America must not and will not be obstructed by war profiteering. It must not be obstructed by unnecessary strikes of workers, by short-sighted management